Should we talk Olympic boxing?
Yeah, I mean, look, forget sewage in the Seine, forget the opening ceremony, forget Murray's retirement. This looks as if it could be the story, the controversy of Paris 2024, Stephen. What we saw yesterday was the Algerian welterweight fighter Aidan Magee against Angela Carini of Italy. The fight was abandoned by Carini after 46 seconds. She had decided she'd taken enough punishment, 2 or 3 blows to the head, the first of which damaged her chin strap. It even had to be adjusted. And she went to her corner and said to her coach, "I can't carry on." And the coach was saying, "Look, carry on, keep going, you know, just give it a little while." But she said, "No, I've had enough." And she said she'd never been hit so hard. Now, the controversy here is that Aidan Magee has an XY chromosome and was banned by the IBA, the International Boxing Association.
But let's see. This is where it gets very difficult.
Yes,
because XY chromosomes are normally found in men and not women. But there's no argument to say
that she's had an unnatural advantage.
Well, we're not talking about a trans athlete.
No, absolutely not.
This is she is a woman.
Absolutely.
But with an XY chromosome.
Yes, so the IBA did tests last year, and Khalif, alongside another Chinese athlete who's a boxer who's fighting today, Lin Yuting, they're found to have had far higher testosterone levels compared to average, a larger muscle mass, the XY chromosomes that we mentioned, and they were deemed to have a competitive advantage by the IBA last year. Now, the backstory to this is that the IBA were overseeing all this, and they banned both fighters from competing at the World Championships last year because of this advantage. The IBA have been... Well, the IOC just took umbrage to the fact that they were scoring bouts wrongly. There were governance issues, and so jurisdiction of boxing, the governance of boxing for the Olympics was handed to the IOC's boxing unit, who have much more relaxed rules about who can compete. So this is where the controversy has come from. Now, yesterday, the IOC were forced into a very embarrassing position. I mean, as soon as Carini was seen to be weeping in the middle of the ring, the official feed just cut to a picture of the Eiffel Tower. It was completely bizarre, and it's a complete car crash now for the IOC because she's fighting tomorrow against Anna Luka Hamori of Hungary in the quarter-final. Lin Yuting, as we say, is fighting today from Chinese Taipei. And I want to hear just now as well from the IBA CEO, Chris Roberts. This is what he had to say yesterday in the aftermath of the incident.
There's a concern raised by both coaches and boxers. Indeed, our medical committee at the time had also had concerns, and so it was at that point that the chair of the IBA medical committee intervened and said, "Look, we need to apply these tests correctly, and we go from there." But of course, end state to that is that these 2 boxers are not allowed to box within IBA. So I find it remarkable how the IOC apply a different condition to this event.
So that's the IOC's, that's the IBA's versions of Chris Roberts, the CEO. Let's hear now from Mark Adams, who's head of communications at the IOC, who spoke after that.
Testosterone is not a perfect test. Many women can have testosterone which is in what would be called male levels, and still be women and still compete as women. So this panacea, this idea that suddenly you do one test for testosterone and that sorts everything out, not the case, I'm afraid.
So that's the version from both sides. We've heard from, obviously, the fighters as well. And it's interesting because, you know, Khalif is beatable. She's lost 9 fights to women.
She was beaten by Kelly Harrington, wasn't she?
That's correct, yes.
The Irish boxer, by the way, very good boxer.
That's right. So 25 years old, but I do think there's dangers going forward. And people are comparing it to Caster Semenya a few years ago. But you know what? There's a world of difference, Stephen, between being beaten over 400 metres. Yes, it's unfortunate to go up against somebody like that. You've been beaten. You could argue about the whys and wherefores of why it happened. But this is hand-to-hand combat in a boxing ring. And there is serious danger. I mean, nobody can say that they could look at Angela Carini yesterday and say that she was not in danger. I mean, she clearly felt it herself.
Yeah, a suspected broken nose. We don't know the full outcome.
Yeah, she said her nose was too sore to carry on.
But talking of Kelly Harrington, she was Olympic gold medalist in 2021, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She's refusing to compete against any boxers who are biological males. And it's not the testosterone issue, it's the biological chromosomal issue. It gets very complicated, and it is a story that's got very, very angry on both sides. But
it's difficult to call the male, isn't it? I mean, this is the problem.
Yes, it is.
Because then people think, well, it's someone who's been born male and had some sort of transition, which it isn't.
It's not a transitional issue. This particular boxer.
I mean, they're born female. They are female. It's just that genetically, it's not.
It's whether the additional variables are deemed an unnatural advantage.
You're born with a difference in sex development, or a DSD, which means you are a biological advantage over a female if you're in a contact sport like boxing.
I think the difference here is the danger. It's the danger inside the ring.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.